The call and the gathering. It began with a single, mysterious phone call that rang across 5 different continents. 5 women each from a unique background answered a voice on the other end promising an extraordinary challenge in the heart of the African jungle, along with a life-changing sum of prize money. First to pick up was Arya Iyer, a former wildlife photographer from India with waist-length, jet black hair worn in a thick braid. Next was Jasmine Al-Hassan, a mechanical engineer from the Middle East, whose silky, coffee brown hair cascaded down to her hips. The third call found Alejandra Torres, a daring free climber from Colombia, who normally sported chestnut brown curls that fell in playful waves around her shoulders. Then there was Lu Wen, a retired martial artist from China, known for her sleek, raven locks that flowed to the middle of her back. Finally, Ebony Carter, an American ex-military officer with richly braided hair dyed in subtle purple streaks, also received the summons. None of the women had ever met each other, yet they all found themselves on planes bound for an uncharted region of Africa, hearts racing with anticipation about the dangerous adventure that awaited. Arrival in a surprising condition. They converged at a small makeshift camp on the edge of a vast rainforest, lush canopies overhead, the humid air thick with the scent of wet earth and exotic blooms. Their host, an enigmatic organizer known only as Kojo, greeted them with a firm handshake and a knowing smile. He explained that each of them would participate in a perilous trek through the jungle, testing their survival skills, hunting prowess, and teamwork. However, there was one crucial, non-negotiable requirement before they began. A local custom held that hunters in this region had to enter the wilderness purified of vanity and worldly attachments. In this tradition, purification meant the removal of all hair. Stunned, the 5 women exchanged uneasy glances. Each one treasured her long locks, which reflected not only her style but also aspects of her heritage. Kojo gestured to a simple wooden hut near the camp's edge, where an elderly barber named Drissa, with kind eyes and steady hands, waited to perform the ritual. The head shaving ritual. Despite their initial reluctance, the 5 women realized that this was part of the challenge they had accepted. One by one, they stepped into Drissa's hut. The interior was lit by the warm glow of a single lantern, illuminating jars of oils and a gentle breeze that rustled the walls. Arya was first. She carefully unwound her lengthy braid, feeling the weight of tradition slip through her fingers. Drissa's scissors snipped through her thick hair at the base of her neck, the severed braid falling into her lap. Her eyes fluttered shut as clippers hummed against her scalp, sending shivers down her spine. Minutes later, her once luxuriant black hair lay scattered across the floor. When Arya finally opened her eyes, she caught her reflection in a mirror propped against the wall, a bare, smooth scalp glistening under the lantern. Her heart thudded, but she felt an inexplicable surge of pride. She looked raw, real, and ready. Next came Jasmine, trembling slightly in the chair as Drissa's practiced hands began by gathering her shining brown hair into sections. One sharp snip after another released each section, leaving her hair in uneven clumps. Drissa murmured words of reassurance in a soft local dialect as he took the clippers to her scalp, revealing the golden undertones of her skin. Jasmine felt each vibration resonate deep within her, almost like a cleansing hum stripping away her nerves. Once it was done, her smooth, newly exposed scalp gleamed with a faint sheen of oil that Drissa massaged in to soothe the skin. Alejandra, always the risk-taker, insisted on watching every moment in the mirror. She gasped at first contact, seeing her beloved chestnut curls tumble to the floor. But as the clippers traveled from her forehead to the nape of her neck, she broke into an unexpected grin, focusing on the sense of freedom each swipe brought. Soon, her shoulders and lap were buried under piles of soft curls, and her scalp, now as bare as Arya's and Jasmine's, caught the lamplight in stark beauty. With Lu Wen, Drissa took extra care, noticing her reserved demeanor. Lu Wen's hair was pin-straight and thick, the sheen of it had always been her pride. She held her breath as Drissa's blade sheared away foot-long swaths at a time. Each segment that fell brought a new wave of adrenaline, equal parts anxiety and exhilaration. By the time the clippers buzzed for the final pass, Lu Wen released a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. She stood up, running a cautious hand over the polished curve of her head, feeling vulnerability and resolve flood her in equal measure. Finally, Ebony approached with squared shoulders. Her braids were undone meticulously, exposing the dyed purple strands woven throughout. Drissa's eyes widened at the vivid color, but he proceeded with the same gentle professionalism. She felt her scalp tingle as the braids were cut at the roots, piling onto the ground. With each braid severed, Ebony thought of her military days, how hair had to be functional, never an obstacle. Now, it was more than functional, it was part of a deeper transformation. The clippers whirred into action, and Ebony, too, joined her companions in embracing the shock of a newly shorn head. Stepping out newfound confidence. When all 5 women emerged from Drissa's hut, they looked drastically different. Gone were the waves, curls, braids, and flowing tresses. Now, under the harsh African sun, their gleaming scalps radiated an almost regal simplicity. Initially self-conscious, they found empowerment in each other's reactions, whispers of awe, supportive smiles, and even laughter as they adjusted to the sensation of a bare breeze over their heads. A sense of camaraderie bloomed among them, they had given up something deeply personal and symbolic together. Kojo, observing the transformation, nodded his approval, declaring them purified and ready for the challenge ahead. That evening, gathered around a crackling campfire, they ran their hands over their newly shaved heads, still getting used to the softness of the stubble and the coolness of the night air on their scalps. The glow of the flames danced across their features, highlighting the unique shape of each woman's head and the look of determination etched on their faces. Into the jungle, hunting with shorn resolve. At first light the next day, they set off into the dense rainforest, gear hoisted on their backs and a map detailing the territory's hidden paths. Without the weight of their hair, the heat felt more tolerable, sweat evaporating swiftly off their scalps. They moved with greater ease, unafraid of tangles in vines or branches tugging on stray locks. There were none left. Aria led them through patches of thick vegetation, using her photographer's keen eye to spot footprints and animal trails. Jasmine constructed a makeshift trap near a watering hole, utilizing her engineering skills, while Alejandra scaled a nearby cliff face to keep watch for her teammates. Lu Wen, drawing on her martial arts discipline, found ways to move quietly through the underbrush, demonstrating stealthy takedowns of small game. Ebony, armed with her tactical training, secured their perimeter at night, ensuring no wild predators could ambush them in the darkness. Their hunts were challenging but exhilarating. On one occasion, a startled warthog charged directly at Aria, and her companions sprang into action. Ebony flanked the animal, while Lu Wen swiftly directed Aria out of harm's way. With combined effort, they managed to capture it for essential supplies. Another time, a flock of exotic birds soared overhead. Alejandra, ever curious, found ways to track their path, hoping to locate their nesting site for fresh eggs. Through every test, their shaved heads served as a constant reminder of their shared sacrifice and unwavering commitment, each glistening scalp reflecting the intense African sun as they overcame obstacle after obstacle. A newfound sisterhood. Each evening, after a long day of traversing muddy terrain and forging new trails, the women would circle around the fire once again, sharing stories of the hair they once cherished and how letting it go had made them feel strangely liberated. Their heads bore small nicks and scratches from branches and thorns, but these marks felt like badges of honor, symbols of a bold challenge they had dared to face. Free from the weight of styling, washing, and protecting long hair, they discovered an unexpected confidence in their minimal appearance. From Aria's reflective calmness to Ebony's strategic precision, each woman's distinct qualities shone through without the mask of hair. They felt more united than ever, an eclectic sisterhood forged in courage, risk, and trust. The demands of the jungle, encountering dangerous animals, navigating treacherous river crossings, and enduring insect-filled nights tested both their stamina and their bond, yet every fresh triumph or close call solidified the unbreakable friendship growing between them. Conclusion: ready for the final trial. After days filled with near misses, astonishing wildlife sightings, and the relentless push to survive, Kojo's final message crackled through on their communication devices, instructing them to rendezvous at a remote clearing. Their transformative journey was nearing its climax, and the mysterious prize money waited as both a reward and a validation of their grit. Despite scratched limbs, tired muscles, and glistening, sun-bronzed scalps, Aria, Jasmine, Alejandra, Lu Wen, and Ebony felt invigorated. Casting one last glance at one another, each bald head reflecting the fierce determination in her eyes, they pressed on. They had answered a call that demanded they strip away layers of comfort, literal and metaphorical, and in doing so, they had discovered hidden depths of courage, resilience, and camaraderie. With every step through the dense foliage, they knew they were more than just 5 women on a quest for prize money, they were a testament to the power of transformation, ready to conquer whatever final challenge lay ahead in the African wilderness.